Hello everyone. I'm here to just give you an overview of the simulation and the software we use to run the simulation. And I'm starting off on a class I had last fall, and you could see that I had 6 teams. Each team had 3 to 4 students on it. That's the typical student complement we usually run with the simulation, but for upcoming um, class this term, it's only going to be 8 students, so 4 teams of 2. So basically, you see how the simulation ended. You see Company E won the simulation, and they had an ending score of 114, and they played Team C by 1 point. This was a very competitive term. Any score, cumulative score for a team over 100 is very good, and you could see 5 of the 6 teams had scores over 100. This was one of my best terms. So I'm just going to launch the simulation. And so basically, teams are running a company, a global company, and they're producing athletic shoes. And let me go to the most important screen here, the wholesale marketing screen. And you could see that they're competing in 4 geographic regions: North America, Europe, and Asia, and Latin America. And you could see this is the price that they're charging for their shoe in the North American market. And price is just one factor for demand. What matters to the customers for this simulation? Well, the wholesale price. So the teams are selling their shoes wholesale to retailers. So think of them as Nike. Nike produces the shoes, sells them to a retailer, let's say Macy's, and Macy's marks it up, sells it to the end consumer at retail price. This is the wholesale price they're selling to retailers. They also advertise in this particular market, North America, and this team is spending $30 million. This 30,000 every thousand represents a million, so they're spending $30 million a year on advertising in North America. They have a factory rebate, $5 per shoe. So $5 of this $81, they're rebating back to the customer when the customer mails it in. This tells you how fast they're delivering their shoe to the the retailer. 1 week. They could have up to 4 weeks. Retailer support. This is how much they're spending on each retail outlet. So right now, this team is selling in 2,213 stores in North America, and they're not spending right now any money on retailer support. The retailer support would be like having a display in each store, having a 1-800 number for customers to call if they have any problems with their merchandise, that sort of thing. And there's also celebrity appeal. Teams can hire celebrities to promote their shoe. And then brand reputation. That's a function of their image, and their image is based upon their market share in a region, their quality, the SQ ratio. That's, in other words, they're rated on stars. 1 star is a terrible shoe. 10 stars is a very, very high quality shoe. This team has an 8.5 stars. So part of the reputation, brand reputation, is their stars in a region. And the third thing that impacts brand reputation is their corporate citizenship. In corporate citizenship, they could do things like recycling, have high energy efficiency in their factories, have ethics training, things like this that makes them seem to be a good corporate citizen. That impacts their brand image. So all of these factors impacts the demand for their product. And you can see the demand, wholesale demand, is 3.1 million shoes here in North America. And so they have to set up their shoe in each region, and they set their shoe up so to speak, against what they think will be the market average for price, advertising, mail-in rebates. And that's what you see right here in the red. So what a team has to do is before they set their price, their advertising, their mail-in rebates, what they've got to do is they've got to make a guess, a forecast, so to speak, as to what they think the average price will be in North America, what the average SQ will be in North America. This is what they're forecasting based upon how many teams are in the class. And then once they forecast the market averages, they position themselves relative to that average, and then the simulation will predict a level of demand. Once the simulation predicts the demand, they've got to go to the production facility, and this team has 2 factories, one in Asia and one in Latin America. They've got to produce the shoes. For example, they're producing 7.2 million shoes in Asia, 11 million shoes in Latin America. Once they produce those shoes, then they got to go to distribution, and they got to ship those shoes to the 4 geographic regions where they sell their shoes. So that's kind of how things work on a very, very macro, bird's eye level in terms of marketing their shoe, producing their shoe, and then finally distributing their shoe. Now there are more aspects to this, but you could see that right here is basically all of the different departments each team has for their company. For example, there's a compensation and training department, the production department, facilities, and so on. And you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 departments, and each department has about, I would say, an average of 15 to 30 different factors they can alter in each decision round. So you could see that it is relatively complex, but they're battling each other, and so it takes a while for students to get up to speed in terms of what they do. Now, of course, when they play these rounds, this generates a lot of data, and those data will show up in all these reports. For example, they have an industry report called a footwear industry report that will show how the industry is doing globally. And then they've got these competitive intelligence reports, and they will show each team head to head. For example, if I click on this, in North America, they show how they're doing in the wholesale segment and the internet segment, all teams side by side. So for example, Team A charged $81. The average price in North America is $107. And this 107 is made up of every team's price averaged out. And you can see this is a nice way to see how you stack up head to head to all of your competitors. And then you've got these company operating reports. This is very detailed information on how a company is being run, and only the team can see these reports. The reports I was just showing you are industry reports. So for example, if I go to marketing and admin expense right here, you could see how it breaks down their marketing. So marketing is based upon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factors: advertising, rebates, the delivery time, retailer support, and celebrity endorsements. And you can see how much they're spending in a particular region, and then they break it down spending per pair. So this team was spending about $14 per pair for marketing. Now this is not doesn't take into account advertising, production, distribution. So if I were to go to the income statement, you could see that $14 per pair shows up right here for North America. And you can see overall their profit per shoe in North America was $23.46. But that $13.95 was marketing costs. But this is manufacturing and distribution, wholesale, and admin expense. So you add these four things up. This is your average total cost, these four things. This is the price they charged. So this minus this is going to give you a profit of $23.46 per shoe in North America. So you can see that we've got an income statement, we've got a balance sheet, you've got very detailed production cost estimates in terms of how things are doing in terms of the wages that they pay, incentive pay, and so on. So you can see it's very, very involved here. Now, one thing that I do for the students, or maybe do to them, is when they start the simulation, they really don't know the differences in terms of the North American market, the European market, Asian market, Latin American market. They don't know the differences in terms of the customer. How do customers in North America react to a price change compared to European customers? In other words, if I increase price by 10% in North America and I increase price by 10% in Europe, you're not going to see the same reaction in a change in demand due to that same price change. The reason why you will not see the same change is because I set the sensitivities to differ between regions. So North Americans will react differently to a change in advertising as what Asians would. And to see how I change those, if I go to the I got to go to the instructor admin screen. So I'm going to go to the fall industry, and then I'm going to go to, they changed the things here. Let me just check this out. Hold on. Okay, it's right here, settings and controls. So if I go to demand factor sensitivity, you see here how I change things. By default, they're all set equal, 1. And a value of 1.25 increases sensitivity to its maximum. A value of 0.75 is sensitivity at its minimum. So you can see what I've done here is I made North America relatively insensitive to a price change, and I made Latin Americans very sensitive. But since North Americans are not very sensitive to price, I did make them very sensitive to quality, SQ, style quality, while I made Latin Americans very insensitive to quality. So you could see how the students have to discover how sensitive their customers are in each region to all of these factors. This is, to me, one of the biggest learning aspects of the simulation, is them discovering how to create a customer profile based upon their customer sensitivities to different determinants of demand or marketing determinants. And so there's lots of potential in terms of students utilizing strategies learned in other classes in how to run a company like this. The more you're familiar with this, I think the more you're going to be able to see potential in allowing students to take concepts in your course and apply it to an application, or it's simply an application of what they've learned in other courses. All I need are some ideas and a little bit of guidance in how to work in your concepts into this simulation. The more you are familiar with it, I think the better you're going to be able to see these possible parallels and applications. So this is just a very, very minor view of this whole thing. I can go into much greater depth if you need it. All you have to do is ask. So hopefully I've sparked something. Hopefully you've got an idea how this simulation runs and how involved it is. And we can expand upon it greatly. So that's it for now. we'll leave it here, and then what I can do is I could take whatever input you give me, and I could provide you greater detail as we see fit. Okay? That's it.